it's Ruth here. So I wanted to jump on because I got a question from one of my clients the other day, and she asked a really good question, and I'm actually going to address it here. So she asked me this question. She said, Ruth, shouldn't wake windows be a natural thing? I mean, sleep science is natural after all. And that's a really good point. Now, yes and no. Wake windows is definitely a natural thing. So over time, your child will lengthen their wake windows. However, it's also a developmental thing. It's also a skill. So just for example, just because someone is a natural piano or a musical instrument player doesn't mean that they can play in the elite level from day one. The talent is there, but they still have to practice and stretch themselves. So wake windows are a little bit like that. I'm not sure if that's the best analogy, but yes and no. Okay, so in summary, yes, naturally, as your baby gets older, the wake windows will stretch. However, does that mean that your child will be up to a level or skill set that they should be at? Maybe not. So for example, sleep science, we know that let's take a 9-month-old, for example, okay? A 9-month-old should be able to handle 3 hours at the start of the day and probably as far as minimum 3 hours 45 in the middle of the day. Now, if your child can't do that, then it doesn't mean that your child hasn't stretched their wake windows. It just means that your child hasn't had the chance to stretch their muscle or their stamina. A wake window is a muscle or a stamina. So, for example, okay, say if you want to run a marathon, okay, that's 40 Ks, right? You're a great runner, but you've only ever done 10K. Will I be confident to put you in a race tomorrow? You probably could run it, but I'm just going to be making life really difficult for you. So, in that case, you are not yet up to scratch, right? In terms of your development, in terms of your milestones, where you're supposed to be at. That's okay. So what we're going to do, the idea behind it is that you're going to start to stretch your wake windows so that your child is up to that standard. Okay? So let's go back to the 9-month-old example. So if your child's 9 months old, you know that your child should be able to handle 3 hours 45 minutes during the day, and your child really cannot do that, then of course you got to follow a right sleep science schedule. Okay, that's just given. And if you're following that, then what you need to do is every single day you need to start stretching that. Okay, so if your child can only do 3 hours, you've got a gap of 45 minutes that you need to get your child up to speed, right? And so like if you're at school and you're behind, you got to do the extra work to catch up to your fellow classmates, right? Otherwise you'll be behind, and you don't want that because the train is going to keep going whether you like it or not. So coming back to that example, what you do is every single day you nudge them slowly. You don't jump straight into it. You're going to cause yourself a lot of pain, and it's going to be disastrous. You don't want that. Okay, we want things gradually and slowly. And so you start stretching your child every day for 5 minutes or so. And then over time, it becomes a muscle that is strengthened. It's a muscle. You have more stamina. Okay, and then over time, by the way, if your child can handle big wake windows, regardless of their sleep needs personality, it's actually a milestone. It's actually something you should celebrate. And so if your child, for example, is 9-month-old and can't even handle 2-hour wake window, that's okay. It just means that you've got a little bit of work to do on your end, okay, to get your child up to speed. So I hope that makes sense. That's just a little bit about wake windows, and obviously I explain a lot more in detail in my program as well, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick, summary or a recap about wake windows, because a lot of parents are confused about wake windows. So it's actually something that's proactive. You do have to proactively nudge. That's what I like to call it. Just nudge your child a little bit, okay? You don't want to shove them or push them, okay? So it's a daily thing. Every single day you just gotta keep track on what they're doing, especially if you have a low sleep needs child. this is even more important, okay? So, yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.